CLG has run out of time and run out of health bars. They can't finish the Nexus in time.
They can't finish it. The GA is gonna come up. Darshan gonna die again. We'll see if he can get out. Doesn't look like it. FlyQuest, hold on. Their base is in shambles.
I said FlyQuest needed a miracle to hold on here. Can they do it though?
The minions are gonna kill it.
It's gonna kill the no! FlyQuest falls at the hands of a Winion. And CLG will 2-0 this series.
One and end. I thought they had held them off. But the minions, the sixth man.
Well, no need for Winion drama this time to win that game. CLG with a clean game one. Welcome back, everyone. That was the largest goal difference at 20 for CLG, all split long at plus 6,500 or so.
Yeah, the game they just played, not the replay that we just showed.
I think Hui just created another NALCS moment. Do 45% of the team's damage that game on Aurelion Sol. One of the best hard carry performances I have seen in a very long time.
Yeah, there's absolutely no question that that game was Hui carry in overdrive there. So, game number 2, though, we got to move on because FlyQuest, I'm pretty sure they're going to ban that champion, and we'll see what CLG look like without Aurelion Sol, and also switching sides as well.
Yeah, they are going to switch it up. I do think it would be very surprising if they leave it open. I think if you leave it open, you're almost suspicious as CLG because it's almost something where it's like there's some sort of specific counter pick or something that they feel comfortable playing into it, but I don't think we're going to see it again in the playoffs.
No, I think in general, FlyQuest, I mean, you said it, that's the kind of game where you just say, all right, reset. Very easy thing to adapt to next game by banning away Aurelion Sol and just try something else. For me, High not having a champion he can roam on and be aggressive on really hurts this team because so much of FlyQuest initiative comes from High leaving mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, you can adapt by banning the Aurelion Sol, but there are other problems in that game that we saw from FlyQuest where they didn't put very many wards down at all, which led to a lot of these success of these roams. So maybe more of a focus on the visioning in the early game and a little bit more aggressive, proactive moves from the team like we're kind of used to seeing from them.
Well, first things first, here is an inter-champion slick for game number 2. FlyQuest first ban Aurelion Sol. CLG answer with Malzahar and Nautilus. There's Camille joining in for FlyQuest, so things should simmer back down to normal now for these bans.
One thing we gotta remember, even though Aurelion Sol's off the table, this is leaving one of those 3 top laners at least open for Darshan that they were worried about. So many teams take Shen away from Darshan because it works very well with how CLG likes to play the game, moving around the map and fighting as a squad.
Yeah, I think the tanks also work really well with how FlyQuest likes to play the game, and so CLG actually lending both of those bans there with the Nautilus and the Shen.
Last ban Lulu, though, for FlyQuest means that CLG can have to take a bit of time here with this first pick. I think jungle is open, kind of leaps out the potential options, but CLG can do a lot here with this pick one, and it's going to be Rengar to start it off.
And I'm actually a little bit surprised it wasn't the Graves. He did have a fantastic game 1, but Graves has been Smithy's kind of traditionally most played and most successful jungler.
Yeah, I think FlyQuest actually will be quick to pick that up unless they really want Moon on like a Gragas here to create plays for the team early on and play more of a front line.
Yeah, the Kha'Zix matchup can be pretty solid into Rengar as well. That is something that a lot of people are willing to make the trade with, but Lemon going to be getting in on Zyra, and this does work well with how he likes to play the game. Pastry, I know we were talking earlier about it's very rare that you see anyone playing it as aggressively as Lemon does.
Yep.
He loves to flash in and look for roots and look for big plays.
No Malzahar, of course, because that's banned away, but a big aggressive support there with the Zyra. And we'll see what FlyQuest pair with it here. They could take Ashe and also take it away from Stixxay. Hasn't been Altec's biggest champion this season, so we'll kind of play it a bit more conservative and just take Graves here.
Yeah, no surprise there. When he is available, just a lot stronger in general than the rest of the field. Let's see what the answer here for CLG is. If they are actually going to decide to try and mirror the support role, I guess we'll wait till the next round for them to see if they do go for, the Nami or the Karma, which are the 2 that I would expect, with Lulu and Malzahar both being banned out. I don't think they really want to get pushed below that kind of threshold for supports.
Yeah, it can be a little bit risky to let your support go that far down, but at the same time, sometimes it can be worthwhile if you can create some discrepancy that gives you a big enough advantage elsewhere.
Looks like they're happy with the Nami pick, though. Nami Ashe going to run the lane straight back here. I mean, Stixxay, we've talked already about how good his Ashe is and how much preference he's shown to that this season already. I think one of the things that hurt FlyQuest last game was that every Ashe arrow felt like a good one, because there were 5 good targets to hit there on the FlyQuest side.
Yeah, we'll see too if Lemonation is better at dodging the bubbles, because Afro landed an alarming level of bubbles without any dodges or flashes from the enemy teams to set things up.
Well, there's the Rumble last pick there for FlyQuest, and starting to ban away top laners already, so could set up a really nice matchup for balls, but CLG will stick to the plan and ban away mid laners.
Yeah, well, taking away the Fizz, that's another big difference here from FlyQuest. So they are going back to the same top laner, but Darshan is going to have to show us something different. Obviously, there are some tanks still available. The Poppy is something he's played quite a bit. He could go into a carry matchup if he wants, though.
Yeah, I don't think FlyQuest will be worried about any tank matchups at all. Rumble would definitely be able to have an advantage there. The only one little flex thing they're kind of worried about is the pushing here, or I mean the 1v1 split pushing champions, and Kled off the table as well, adding another one to that list.
Yeah, that is another one off. Kennen is still available. It's something that you can see played into Rumble sometimes. You know, building things like Wits and the attack speed, Kennen type build.
Yeah. Ooh, and that's actually Kennen for FlyQuest, so they take it away.
I want to
This
say,
is an AD carry.
I want to say it could be, and that's what everyone's mind is going to jump to after the Fnatic series. However, this was also one of High's favorite champions. This is probably like a 0.02% chance, since AP Kennen is way worse. But this was technically one of High's favorite champions, you know, during the Proto Bell era with full AP Kennen in the mid lane specifically. But it's a very low chance.
Yeah, and it's if someone is the guy to do it in North America, it's going to be Altec, right? The guy who has played Mordekaiser AD carry, Misfortune AD carry, he busts out the champions that a lot of other players aren't willing to do, and this could be something prepared by FlyQuest for the series.
Well, there's Ari for CLG, so a very safe mid laner for probably a counter pick being prepared here for High, but there's a Mundo actually for Darshan, so they needed a tank, they've got a super tank.
Actually, one of the old classics into Rumble, Rush the Spirit Visage, and you just kind of CS early with cleavers. If you can get past the early stages of the lane phase, Mundo's actually quite good into this matchup.
And Mundo is actually one of my favorite champions. One of the reasons I feel like he has fallen off quite a bit, though, is Executioner's Calling. That item alone hurts him so much. The easy application of a permanent healing debuff, and, you know, we'll see if FlyQuest is going to pick one up early, because I think if you do, you really do cut out so much of the strength from Darshan.
Yeah, Morello's, of course, kind of the go-to item for almost every mage in mid as well, so it can certainly be a tricky environment for Mundo, but last pick, Orianna, does confirm the AD Kennen there for Altec, and, I mean, High is going to go back to Ori, but I feel like it's interesting to see where FlyQuest power resist game once again High on a champion he can really carry on, but it's not that aggressive early game champion. Instead, duty falls to Moon and maybe bottom lane as well.
And I mean, this is High's most played this season, right? This is his bread and butter. He has been playing it time and time again. Definitely a very different composition, though. This is not really a protect the Kennen. Kennen succeeds more in split push.
Yeah, especially since the threat from who he's roams on Ahri are still there, just not nearly as much as on the Aurelion Soul, and it's a lot easier. You have so much more time, basically, to alert the side lane, so I don't think he'll be as worried about who he leaving the lane as he was in the last matchup.
Well, we'll see what happens here. Once again, Thinkard, a little late to the handshake, but smiles there.
And you're right on the coaches.
He's fashionably late. He's making them wait.
I mean, you know, using that maximum time as your team gets in, I don't mind it.
Yeah, a little bit of extra information for the early game plan.
Well, you can see the matchups here. Very curious to see what happens there in the bottom lane. CLG FlyQuest round 2 is coming right up, and we kind of expected FlyQuest to start to play a little more creatively in their draft. We didn't think they would go all in, and they haven't this time, but Kennen is the kind of pick where, like you said, Azael, if any team is going to have a practice, it will be FlyQuest.
The Kennen is super interesting to me because when you're looking at the success of Kennen AD carry, you can pretty much look no further than Reckless, right? He is the one guy in Europe who has been doing well on it, and it's so important to win lane on this champion because you need to get ahead and you need to be able to succeed in split push. He's not a traditional AD carry, but they're laning against Ashe Nami, one of the best 2v2 matchups in the game.
But they're laning as 5 members. Haha, gotcha, Azael. We'll see if they get any kind of surprise bush check
with
here.
Rengar down here, he might actually think that they have the numbers advantage, but
Yeah.
you see a ward.
Oh, yep. That should maybe tip them off that something's happening.
Lemon
Lemonation
bait?
going to move out and get some plants out, perhaps. Smithy actually already backing away, and there's the recalls from Moon and Balls, so no one going to get caught here. They'll both complete those recalls and back to their lanes. Aphromood is dancing. Also just saying, you know what, we can see you. Don't try anything funny.
And while, you know, the 5-man bottom bush is kind of funny, and, you know, there's that chance that you get a face check kill, and it's very low, what you give up on that, and why you don't see a whole bunch of teams do that, is, you know, free warding on the other side. There's the classic Wraith ward here from Darshan to see the start from Moon so they can begin tracking him.
And that can be very important because Mundo, you know, knowing where the other jungler is, you want to stay safe in the early game. One of the big strengths of Mundo, though, is he CS's under the turret so ridiculously well. All of his abilities can be used to CS very easily there. And even though you're getting pushed in by Rumble, you shouldn't really lose too much because of that.
Yep.
Oh, can he get a small raptor, though?
Going to get aggressive, throws a cleaver in onto Balls. Moon going to try and clear this out. Actually going to share a bit of XP. Balls, though, taking damage. Darshan is just sticking on this camp. Just continuing to throw cleavers. This is really troublesome. In fact, almost stole one.
He took half of Balls' health as well in that trade, as well as delaying Moon here.
And he actually might be able to cut off Balls at the tri-brush here and get a couple more cleavers in, but Balls is going to go the safe way, so that is smart.
But so is Darshan. He's
he missed.
This is also actually the first Mundo pick we've seen since the first week of Spring 2016.
Oh my
It was played by Fang, a sub for TIP, so it's been a while.
Definitely a stranger in the North American LCS.
Well, Darshan again, nice little early lead, so Moon's going to try something special.
Not cheesy, intelligent. I really like this pathing. You know, Darshan spent so much. Yeah, thank you. There you go.
I got you.
All right, flash in instantly. Darshan busts away, but Moon might get the solo go here. He's going to move him down, tries to get the red buff tick, but it's not enough for the kill.
Brilliant idea. Maybe not the exact execution of it.
Yeah, I mean, Balls was not there to follow up. Like, Balls needed to commit and flash in too, and now he's going to lose his bot side jungle.
Yeah,
he's already there.
I would say he was not supposed to follow up. He's supposed to start it out. You want Balls trading, to start the trading out with the Mundo, then you go in and flash with the jungler coming up. So I think it was a really good idea. But maybe the coordination, the communication with Balls and Moon wasn't quite there, because just a tiny bit of damage from Rumble, if he had started trading early, even if Darshan immediately backed off, would have been the difference there.
Yeah, and one of the funny things about it is with how much regen he actually has, with triple regen speed plus very high base regen on the Mundo, he didn't even have to base. He's back to full health, CSing at his turret. So this is one of the strengths of Mundo. You can hang it on your turret very easily, and once you're on a cowl, you're almost unpushable.
Yeah, generally, if you don't die on the all-in, you're not going to die. So
Yeah.
Darshan just hanging out, letting Balls push the lane in. Xmithy did get that blue buff, but now there's the nice
they're on
throw.
Moon. He has no flash.
Too far forward. This could be first blood, but Moon, he's going to cut it out, dash it over the wall, but Xmithy's going to chase him down. Could be a close up, and who he flashes, and that's first blood.
TP coming in from Balls, though the collapse is here.
Oh, Hui now, he's going to get a little caught out. Out there going to try and get something done. Hui goes down.
He's recalling right now, gets it off.
All right, little chaotic there. Trade though. CLG get the first blood. FlyQuest answering return, but it does cost them their top lane TP.
Yeah.
Exactly. And now the Mundo is a level up, plus there's no teleport for Balls to get back to lane, so he loses a lot of minions here.
He really does, and this is a full commitment to the play. Both members flashing over, they know they're so deep, they need to get something out of this, and Hui's taking one for the team here. He knows it's a one-way trip going down, but actually pulling them away from the Rengar means it's just a 1-for-1, and they got first blood.
Exactly, and we'll see if Balls is able to get up to those top lane minions in time. There's a large group at the turret at the moment, and he missed out on a few of the melee ones, but should recover a little bit here.
Looks like things should be okay there for Balls. Darshan now going to make his first back as CLG fans continuing to rise their fan boat as the series goes on. I think the confident winning game one's probably going to help.
Yeah, confident invade there from Moon as well, and he knows that Hui burned the flash over the wall to attack him. So when the action begins like this, sometimes it really does snowball. Everybody knowing that the flashes are down and looking to take advantage of those, especially when you do have teams like this that really like to get off the ground very early.
You can also see Hui is actually going very aggressively for his build here. He's going to go straight towards a Proto Belt. So I'm expecting the Proto Belt Lichbane type build that was kind of made famous by Faker. You know, he's supposed to be the secret build who's going to bust out at Worlds. And people have played it a fair bit this season. Piglet, as a guy who's been using it quite a bit. It's a very exciting build.
Yeah, definitely exciting. He's going to need some more CS to be able to complete it. Smithy actually gets chased down in the jungle.
Yeah, Ball's actually going to burn one down, but Moon here first for the assist. Bowler is going to snare him up. No flashes here, except for Balls, and now he's going to move himself over. Blast code, not enough. Balls gets himself a kill. And out over the wall.
Double buffs too, which is going to be pretty nice for the lane.
And again, just continuing on with the aggressive moves there. So Smithy actually giving back a decent amount of gold. And even though a lot of it started out in CLG favor, FlyQuest now catching back up and taking a very small lead.
Elimination may have face-checked that bubble a little too soon, but the stun looking in for Altec does get it onto Afro with Ignite. Down off a stick that they're going to try and turn around. Elimination forced to bash away. Stickstay looking for the 2v2 win. Afro so low, but he does not die. Everyone's safe in bottom lane.
That is going to draw some jungler attention. All the members burning heals, ignites. Let's see here. More than junglers are coming.
High,
he just jumps into Smithy.
Oh, Smithy, no, he's going to be there first. High, he's going to try and find it out, but he gets the snare down, cleanses out of the way. Looking for a big play, needs a shockwave, but it's not quite there. Stickstay still firing away, but Smithy can't get through the plants. The ball, but not enough.
So ridiculously close there. What an exciting start to the game. It's Hui that gets to push out mid lane, gets to recoup some of that CS.
Yeah, Hai didn't want to flash over to the tri-bush because then Rengar would walk in the tri-bush and get a free hop onto him, so he flashes towards the duo lane into the Ashe autos there, and it's extremely close. That CS that we were talking about before, Hui does take that time to catch up a bit in that department.
He's actually going Gunblade. He's not going Protobell, so this is very interesting.
All right, so I was going to make a joke about it, saying, hey, we've seen a lot of Gunblade, Lichbane, LeBlanc. Maybe that's the build here, and it looks like it actually is.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty funny. One of the big things to me about the LeBlanc one, though, is the single target health that she gets back due to the Qs bouncing around but still being classified that way, whereas Ahri, her orbs do count as AoE, so you get a little bit less there. Let's see about all this 5-member mid kind of cross they've created here, though. Everybody looking to make a play.
I mean, Falls doesn't have much else to do on the top lane but push, so he's going to try something here. Hui, though, playing back, just going to wait for the wave and take that one down nice and safely. Smithy was off to the right just in case they needed it, but another play attempted by FlyQuest, going to get foiled once more.
And I think a lot of that from FlyQuest was just being in position for a counter gank. You're not really going to be able to gank an Ahri with ultimate up very often like that. So being in position in case the Rengar ultimate comes in, because if Smithy committed to that, he would be the one going down.
Especially since his flash still has a good amount of time left to come up. Let's see about the warding this time around, though. That's just one thing that I was keeping an eye on last game from FlyQuest. They've actually redoubled their efforts here and a little bit more control in the river than previously.
I'm going to go ahead and get blue buff as well. Hui going to have to back a little ways away, actually taking down the scuttle. And I think a ward on the left side of mid is Elimination also got to roam up there. Kind of knows that without his flash, he's a bit vulnerable, but that's back now. He's got his ultimate, should be safe. His Smithy makes his way to top lane.
And this is a lane that you can actually tower dive very well because Mundo can tank that up with his ultimate. I think that's what they're going to set up here. Here they go.
Already starting at Ball's nose, but he has to neutralize quickly. Smithy just goes under. Dashan going to tank it up, and that's an easy kill for the Rengar.
And this is actually very big because the minion wave is here. He's going to lose these minions and the damage on the turret.
He does have teleport. 15 seconds, he would probably need a Moon to head up there as well. And the turret's burning down with that red buff from Rengar.
Turret's gonna be gone.
It's gonna be gone before he actually revives.
Instantly, but he's gonna get the shockwave back in. High taking too much damage already, but Moon maybe gonna save it. High gets dangerous game, gonna keep him alive.
Woo! High on the edge right there. Let's see if Moon can actually travel down to the bottom side, though, because they know that Smithy stayed around at the turret to finish.
Tower does go down on the other side. Moon continuing to play aggressively, but CLG still picking up a win there in the top half of the map. Hui so close to the aggressive all-in, but Fly, they got the mid kill. They know there's two top. They're going to try and trade it for an Ocean Drake.
Ooh, yeah, the mid kill is going to ensure that they can go for this. They know that Smithy was up at the top side for a very long time at the turret, and FlyQuest will come away with the extra health regen.
That's really big. The High is able to survive this. And it looked like Hui could not hit his charm. I don't actually see when it came out. Oh, okay, the charm was actually on a Moon, so a late charm there. He needed to, when he flashed, you want to do the flash in with the immediate charm. You have to hit that because High was actually cleanseless. That would have been a pretty much free kill had he landed that charm, but missing that is very big.
And the key, I think, is that High is also flashless. So sometimes you'll hold on to that charm because you're expecting the flash reaction to your flash.
Uh-oh.
Lemon caught out.
Yeah, that's instantly the kill, but Altec going to try and turn it around, stunned it onto Afro. Look at the sticks, they does land the stunning. Altec aggressive, and the heal's going to keep Afro alive now. Dashan down here as well, and Altec completely caught. Dashan swoops in for the secure.
Briefcase to the face.
Sentenced to death there from Darshan. Meanwhile, let's take a look at FlyQuest. Ball's only option is to push the lane. since he uses teleport and canceled it there, and should be able to get a few minions. But man, Darshan's up to that Spirit Visage. That's what we were looking for. Rush on him, and he will be able to deal with this Rumble no problem from now on.
And one of the biggest concerns is not even that he's at that point, it's that you don't have the safety of your turret. Because Mundo can chase you down and kill you in an extended fight very easily in a matchup like this. So anytime Moon shows elsewhere on the map, Balls has got to be careful topside, because this is a long lane now.
I think in general, top and bottom looking good for CLG, but we can look to mid lane, see where FlyQuest are looking good. Huhi has tried a few aggressive plays, but hasn't quite worked out yet. High up in CS looking at 20 with the Morello Nomicon on the way soon. I mean, if there's ever someone to look to for FlyQuest, it's almost always High. Oriana's set up once again to have a very strong game.
Yeah, he certainly is. Thanks to the kill from Huhi, he's pretty much even on gold, so he will have some combat power, but I do feel like going for a build like this with the Gunblade on the Ahri, you're going to have to try to get something done early. It feels like very much like a dueling item, not really a team fight, powerful build. So he has to either get it into split push or start really kind of taking over in mid lane, I feel like.
Again, looking for charms. Lance on the High. Damage back is good, but High holds on to his summoner spells. They are back up, so this is going to have to be a big all-in from Huhi to work. Shockwave in. Huhi going to take a lot of damage on that trade. Smithy hunting as well. Both junglers, I think, trying to get something happening in the mid lane.
Counter gank.
Looking for the briefcase. Lands it, but not going to dive straight in this time. Huhi doesn't have too much to work with. Cleave is continuing to be thrown out, but High gets up from under that one pretty easily. Looks like Lemon left. Oh, sorry. Afro left as well. Stixxay, though, just going to farm this out.
Yeah, bottom lane has to watch out for the Ashe arrows. Anytime this Rengar roams even close to the bottom side of the map, the Zyra is a very vulnerable target. Lemonation has his flash up now, so he could flash the first arrow. Doesn't want to have to use it there, though.
High continuing to try and zone in mid lane. Did stay around after all the action dissipated. Lemonation looking for Afro, not going to find him. There's a ward in that brush, but that should be swept out here by CLG.
Yeah, he actually timed his Zyra snare there with the end of the sweeper that was going on and putting the ward down there, so ensuring they can only get 2 shots on it. But again, Mundo going where he pleases for pretty much now on into the rest of the game.
Yeah, I really don't feel like there's any real time that the Rumble can just straight up 1v1 you, unless it's like you get super ahead, so it's gonna be tough. But one thing that is a little bit concerning for FlyQuest is, while Altec is doing fine in lane, he certainly does not have a lead, and he does not look like he is in a position to really take over in the split push. And I'm gonna be interested in tracking his build, seeing if he does try to build into someone who can deal with Darshan in the side lane, or who he's looking to really try to match up against.
Well, first part of that would be the Blade of the Ruined King. You did also mention the importance of cutting the healing of Mundo, so that would probably come from a Kennen, because he'll have a little bit longer range than Graves and a lot quicker attack speed, maybe even a Runons to spread it around.
Exactly. With that Runons, you can have a lot of value from this.
Well, it looks like that's where Altec's going right now. Blades finished for both 80 carries with 2 daggers in there for Altec. Morello Nomicon also finished there for High, and the Gunblade's now done for Huhi. So a lot of those initial items are now being completed across both sides of the rift. So we'll see if these teams can kind of parlay that into a bit more of a fight. But Darshan now looking for mid once again.
Yeah, Huhi's sitting there just in the fog of war on the little edge of that mid lane to try and go for more attempts onto High. Meanwhile, Moon has been shadowing mid lane over and over. FlyQuest are aware of the focus that CLG are trying to bring into the mid lane, and he's setting up counter ganks. Right now, though,
oh, face check. Actually, Smithy going to leap out. Moon, though, does quick draw away and should be safe.
And it's important to note that was actually a trinket ward, you know, not like it's a blue ward there, so he didn't actually see Smithy coming into his side of the jungle. It doesn't give them much vision.
Well, you can see Darshan and Smithy just going to back away. Darshan now going to meet the top wave. Ball's even roaming towards the mid. You can see just how much attention both teams are paying to that section of the map. Ball's going to try and keep Smithy's control ward out of the jungle. Should be able to take that one down. Soons him out with the harpoons. And Altec now waiting in bottom lane. Yeah, going to go for an all-in onto Stixxay. Stixxay flashes out, but he might get stunned already. Afro going to get the tidal wave down. Elimination getting burnt down already. Gets out the stranglehold. It might be enough to get the trade. There's one as Altec takes down Stixxay. It's actually Lemon that gets credit for the kill. But now it's
on top side.
Top as Balls. He's going to get left on. Good flash out of the way, but Smithy still going to chase it down. Equalizes there, but Darshan just too tanky, and he gets the kill.
there's nothing that you can do there as the Rumble if nobody on your team is lending any help. Smithy and Darshan dive in once again, and the reason nobody else was there from FlyQuest. They all were drawn to the bottom side as Moon and High both attempted a roam down there. High cancels his roam, goes back to mid lane to try and shove, and he's hoping to get some tower damage on the mid lane, but CLG are just demolishing the FlyQuest defenses.
Yeah, they really are, and if they can't get some turret back here, they're going to start falling pretty far behind in gold. They do at least have that mid lane turret low, but the CLG bot lane is moving up to try to defend.
Yeah, Moon's also trying to move up to, I think, cover for High here and make sure this mid turret goes down. They really need to just open up the map. High going to tank a turret hit there, but this cannon wave could secure it for FlyQuest, so they will get a very key turret for themselves. But CLG just continuing to play to that strong side of the map, and Darshan has already taken over this lane. Anytime someone else comes up, it just seems like so much trouble.
Yeah, the setup for this upcoming Drake is going to be very important as well. There are a lot of tools that CLG have to force the issue here. With Ashe, Rengar, and Ahri, FlyQuest have to be very careful about the positioning.
From also just dodging out of the roots. Elimination trying to clear this vision out, but Xmithie going to jump on a Lemon. Lemon has to get back immediately. Burns that flash.
One less tool to reposition there for FlyQuest.
I never really like when people are actually trading with the Zyra plant to kill that off. You take so much more gold than you're almost always expecting. You almost always will lose out on that trade. Sure, you get a couple gold for killing it off, but he gets the Spell Thief gold and a lot of damage.
Oh, Play again just grouped up. They're trying to burn the ultimate, just run in for it. On a pretty short cooldown, so could have a back of a team fight start. Darshan is just a menace right now. I mean, once again, the FlyQuest double AP is kind of being negated by all that early resistance.
It's actually pretty big, though, to not have the ultimate as he's going topside, and Dragon could be started up by FlyQuest, because not having the ultimate for Mundo in a team fight is very, very big for the move speed and the healing.
Big minion wave up there has drawn Darshan away from the fight, but FlyQuest very scared about starting this one up.
Well, it's there. Looks like someone has already aggroed it, so FlyQuest are going to move on to the objective.
This could be such a pivotal team fight if they decide to commit to it, but it looks like CLG just wants to shove mid and try to trade for turret pressure.
All right, Drake number 2 now over to FlyQuest. I'll add a Mountain Drake to go alongside that Ocean.
He's waiting.
Waiting for Lemon specifically.
Oh, Lemonation, goodbye!
Oh!
Barely gets the ward down, but does go down to Huhi. High also going to get bubbled up there by Afromu, but is here in time to try and clean this up. Shockwave lands on Afro. High going to turn it around. Big play gets a kill. Force to Vash. Afro minus Stixay. Arrow lands in. Cleanse. Not nearly enough as Stixay gets the kill.
Nice trade kill.
Yeah, and that is going to be mid pressure as well for CLG. They just can run off the defenses here. Balls and Moon going to try and wave clear, but look at topside. Darshan could get all the way onto an inhibitor turret if they try and defend outer mid.
He's all the way onto an inhibitor turret.
There he is,
trying to defend mid. So Darshan just getting things pushed in. Now going to move all the way back. I mean, 2v1 can probably be okay. Now Xmithie might even die with Huli onto Moon. Bowler is going to slow one down. There's the charm landing. Moon seems to be in trouble here. Is Lemonation going to try and get Hui? Does snare him up, but Stixay here. Strangledawn's going to get flashed out of. Moon flashes for the kill, but already too late. It's just so much pressure on the map from CLG.
Yeah, a lot of super aggressive moves behind turrets for them, and they actually don't even focus on taking down the turret. Darshan was walking around inside the FlyQuest base while 2 members of CLG going for that dive between turrets. And FlyQuest get to hold on for a little bit longer. The time is definitely working against them, though. It's getting very scary for FlyQuest, and you wonder what it looks like when they finally do pull the trigger.
And here's that pick once again, and that is just an instant deletion. There's no chance for Lemon being able to react.
Nice.
What a horrible
side view here. In case you didn't really get the story of that game.
Because he didn't realize how dead he was. And then back to mid lane. High is trying to come up to defend this turret. Does get a nice kill onto Afromu, but Stixay going very aggressive, knowing Xmithie is flanking.
And CLG have been camping mid for so long here. They've been throwing top lane roams, jungle roams. Everybody's been trying to attack mid lane as well. FlyQuest, though, finally getting some gold back for themselves. That's a very crucial turret. And they actually go up in outer turrets here against CLG.
Yeah, good bit of gold there for FlyQuest. Now, just under 1,000 gold between the two teams. And Alsac with the Runans can now shove the waves pretty hard and maybe contribute very meaningfully to a team fight as FlyQuest starting up Baron.
I was asking, what does it look like?
Oh, Xmithie not going to get trapped down. He's going to flash, but Moon's going to chase him down. Slow from ball signs in, but that's a blow up onto Alsac. Goodbye. Arrow hits an elimination. Hui turns the fight around. Xmithie does fall down, but Hui now still chasing away.
From the side.
High needs to find a big shockwave, but Moon is going to die first. The charm's going to land, and now High is going to get caught down.
Gets one.
There's Afro already dead, but Stixate is looking to zone the rest of it out. Darshan gonna run it in, and I don't know if they can kill this Mundo. He doesn't have his ultimate, but Darshan's just gonna keep running high. Gonna try and focus him down, but he doesn't have enough at all. Hui gets himself another kill, and now Darshan's just gonna keep going. Balls, he's the next target. This Mundo will not be stopped. Blastcone, get out! Oh, Darshan finally off with the help from the plants. He was going all the way to the fountain if he had the chance.
Hui came up so big in that team fight for CLG. FlyQuest made a very risky call here, and it's a bit surprising to me. They pulled this pretty much
I
even.
wanted to get a view from the CLG perspective, because even though they see Smithy in the river, I wonder if he actually saw them before Elimination walks out there. Curious about the Fog of War on that one, but regardless, after they see Smithy, they get super nervous and like, oh, he probably saw us and we need to get out of this Baron pit. So they go for the offensive. As you're saying, Hui coming over that wall, deleting the backline, just cut everything out from the feet of FlyQuest there. And even though it's pretty funny from High being able to punish after moves flash forward, he eventually is going to pay the price there. Tax collector Mundo is coming for him.
Yeah, and I mean, Mundo, he's going to keep chasing you down. You need consistent damage. You need healing debuffs to actually be able to cut through him. You know, one thing that was going well for FlyQuest is they finally had moved Kennen into the side lanes and started.
All right, they definitely saw plans.
Yeah, Elimination accidentally betraying his team there with his passive. As the plant spawns in front of Xpiti. I mean, it was an aggressive play, but CLG already on top of that. You can see finally, I mean, Altec has now finished the Executioner's calling, but it's going to be tough to kill the Mundo. I mean, even if you cut through all that healing, he's still so tanky with almost 3 items completed.
Yeah, it really is. And I just feel like if you can't get Altec in a side lane, getting something done, FlyQuest cannot win this game. That has to be really the key to their plan. I just don't really see CLG, unless they make a big mistake and group up for an AoE combo, losing.
Yeah, I mean, they can get him into a side lane. The key part of your phrase there is getting something done. I don't think there's anything, even with Executor's calling, he can do against Darshan right now.
And Ahri. I mean, Ahri now has Lichbane completed and the Gunblade, so how do you duel up against that? But if you don't get the Kennen ahead, it doesn't really succeed, and that is the problem with the Kennen AD carry team.
Well, you've certainly seen Hui just destroy 2 different members of FlyQuest bottom lane with that Gunblade. So now with the Lichbane finish, things are going to look better. Stixay also with the Phantom Dancer. We've looked at Darshan. He's quickly approaching that 3rd tank item here. I mean, he's even got extra flat health to build, so this Mundo is only going up for the next few minutes. Now FlyQuest, I just saw High complete his Luden, so overall they're just very far behind on itemization, even though CLG are not quite 3,000 gold ahead. It's just a tough spot for FlyQuest to be in.
FlyQuest are putting themselves out there for the team fight.
Oh, Ball's gonna get jumped on. That should be a kill. Looks like they're gonna try and turn it back around. Altec defensively pops the ultimate, and the Stranglethorns only gonna find Darshan. Stixay on a killing spree takes down Balls. Now 5v4 for CLG.
That was a very curious, where do we go? Walk up mid lane without any turrets around, and CLG pounce right on them. Now let's see how FlyQuest delay for the revival of Balls. He does have teleport, so if they can stall for 20 seconds, then they're okay, but this is risky.
Yeah, blind right now. Baron not being started. FlyQuest will get the information they need as the blue trinkets move into the pit. Darshan again looking to zone them out. CLG playing this one slowly.
I think without ultimates on CLG, I would have preferred to see them move over towards the Dragon and try to start something up there. Because no Ashe ultimate, no Rengar ultimate, no Ahri ultimate, those are your pick tools, right? And you're not going to really catch people out unless FlyQuest super walked into you.
Yeah, that was definitely some good discipline from FlyQuest, not to just steamroll ahead, face check, and go down there. That's what CLG were looking for, trying to get a face check kill there. But they eventually do transition down to that Drake and pick up the Ocean Drake for themselves.
The Drake over to CLG. They'll take one away from FlyQuest, who will stop their run on that objectives. Altec still shoving down waves. We'll see if FlyQuest can kind of find the angle or even just the setup that they want. I mean, CLG have just consistently dictated what's happening in the series so far. And in the last game, it was Hui and the Aurelion Soul taking over. This game, it's just been Darshan and this Mundo causing consistent pressure, and CLG, they found the lopsided part of the map and they could kind of bleed out wherever they wanted. This game, they chose to go mid lane, but they had so many options. FlyQuest just can't afford to fall behind in places where CLG are very obviously attacking.
Yeah, CLG have had very good, well thought out game plans heading into both of these games, set up in Champion Select and executed on in-game as well. throughout this season, FlyQuest have been this scrappy group of guys.
Balls looks to be in some trouble here. Gunblade already used, so the team's going to reinforce, and that should be enough to save their teammate, who he, though, going to back out of the way. As Darshan's busy in the bottom lane now, takes down the outer turret.
Yeah, and even though they didn't get the kill on balls, they're still winning out on this play because FlyQuest wasn't able to execute on a Baron rush. They're losing stuff on the bot side, and Darshan is really just doing a great job extending his lead.
Well, it looks like some gold going to be spent by Darshan. There's a Guardian Angel now completed there for Mundo, so no health just yet. There's a Ruby Crystal for a bit extra, but Mundo had enough to kill for FlyQuest when he only has 1 life. Now with an extra life, especially good with someone with this much regen.
One of the other things that's going well for CLG is just there's so much magic damage on the side of FlyQuest, and so many of them have itemized heavily towards that. You know, FlyQuest really are going to have to try to set something up, start to control vision and fight back to really be able to look to grab someone.
Yeah, it's a similar story to, you know, how can they come back as last game, right? They still have the Orianna, they still have the Rumble, and they're kind of hoping for one of those, you know, Hail Mary face checks, I guess, from CLG to turn this one around. Because the last couple of confrontations have gone heavily CLG favored. And FlyQuest options are dwindling. First step, though, set up that defensive vision and really try and create a space for yourself to make a comeback.
I think continued credit to CLG in their drafting here, though. One of the reasons I like Ash in particular versus FlyQuest, if they're going to keep drafting Rumble, CLG basically won the last game by initiating a screen or 2 away and then forcing fights where FlyQuest could never fight as 5. This pick could get FlyQuest something, but Smithy may be able to get out. Breaks out of the CC with a W, and FlyQuest, they need to fight together, but they can't find anything. If they had CLG's comp, that's probably a dead Rengar, and now FlyQuest can force something. Instead, they need to fight as 5, and CLG is just not giving them that entry into a team fight.
Yeah, it's tough, and that is why vision is so important in this game. You need to consistently fight as a team, and that's why we see FlyQuest moving around, consistently contesting the vision around the Baron area. But CLG is looking for a collapse, and they're going to go for the fight.
Looks like they've Miami found a pick. Moon and High, the next target. Bowler's going to land in. Are we going to miss, though, from Stixay?
Splits the uprights.
Yeah, they even had Darshan back off a little bit to try and lull FlyQuest into a false sense of security, so they didn't scramble there, but they are able to dodge the arrow. See if they are able to dodge the Ahri, waiting on a control ward, though. Who he looking for a pick on Lemon, his boy.
Juicy target, he flashes out, but I don't think that's enough. The Trump is going to land in. The Gunblade's good. But planted up, and they're going to flash forward for elimination list for a little while longer, but Stixay is going to take him down.
All right, let's see if they actually thin out the herd a little bit more here, or just turn onto the Baron. Plenty of vision control for CLG.
Yeah, without that support, it's going to be really hard for them to actually maintain vision control around this. So what FlyQuest is looking to do is push up mid lane and force CLG to try to come out and react to them. But CLG is already starting up the Baron.
Yeah, way smarter than that. And this is such a good little Baron duo. Mundo, excellent around Baron. He tanks it, he does a lot of damage to it, and CLG is just baiting FlyQuest in.
And they come up with a steal here, no vision.
Ulted already. Altek's dead there to who? He's Shockwave. He's going to miss, and CLG going to take everything around the pit here. FlyQuest, they maybe try a miracle steal, but that's all they can really do.
Yeah, Moon has to go for a steal, and Darshan's over the wall trying to stop that.
Moon looking for it, but Darshan going to be disrupted. They take he's in the pit, he took down Baron! FlyQuest maybe saved the game, but CLG collect 4 kills.
And Lemon, the guy who died at the very beginning, comes back up and is able to wear the Baron buff. He's the only member from FlyQuest with it.
Not a from Stixay. Here comes Smithy, and Darshan should be able to take it down solo. There's the ace from CLG. Darshan holds onto his GA as well.
And they're going to push straight into the base. They could potentially look to end the game here. 20 seconds on high.
Well,
CLG crashing in.
They're going to look for it here. A top inhibitor will fall down, and a big wave behind them. CLG, though, they'll back out from the area, but they took so much off FlyQuest there.
Yeah, I think it'd be a little bit risky for them to try and end here as the timers are coming back up for FlyQuest, but even though they don't get that Baron, they still have a very big lead, and now the inhibitor wide open up there. Let's take another look at the steal. You can tell from the very beginning that Moon, even though he's attacking the Mundo, has his eyes on the health of Baron. As soon as it gets down to 1,000 here, actually already comboed, so it's just a pure smite. Smithy smites first, and Moon gets the second smite there. It was like 110 health or something, and able to be cool under pressure. It's one drop in the bucket, though, for FlyQuest, as they're definitely going to need some more moves to keep themselves in this game.
Yeah, they really are, but it's a game-saving play nonetheless. I think if CLG gets the Baron there, the game does end. So FlyQuest still have hope in this game. They still can look for those big shockwaves, for the big plays to try to come back in their game.
And man, whenever you're able to pull out a smite steal like that, the pressure that the junglers are feeling on a playoff game, on the stage up there, they're already down 1 game in the series. Definitely a lot of credit due to Moon there.
Especially against Smithy, who's kind of known for being incredible at securing these objectives. Famous for stealing away so many dragons and barons in big ticket games.
Well, you can see who he... Now, he's the one split pushing here on the Ahri with the Lich Bait, and this should be pretty easy pickings on the side lane as the tier 2 turret falls over to CLG. 6 turrets to 3 now. CLG starting to balloon that gold advantage. 7k up, going to look to take their own Mountain Drake and equalize Fly's Drakes. 6A and Afro, no jungler required for that one. And sure, even though Lemon does not have Baron anymore, FlyQuest at least took it away from CLG, but Super Minion is going to cause enough of a problem, and CLG still have a good setup for any sort of split push.
And Smithy actually just trying to zone them back, look if there's any sort of dive. You can scout out the other team with that Rengar ultimate, see where they are positioned. Doesn't find anything, but creating a little bit more pressure.
Yeah. How cool is it that you know, we're looking at FlyQuest and everyone's like, oh, all the crazy picks that they've done all season, and CLG come out with 2 picks that we haven't seen in a very long time in the NALCS. The Mundo counter that showing up a bit in Korea to the Rumble, really successful here in previous game. Puhi's classic Aurelion Soul. As of right now, FlyQuest fighting for their lives to defend their base.
This is not safe elimination, but looks like Altac and Moon are there to protect him. Smithy, though, going to continue just holding dominion over this brush, and this is just trademark pressure from CLG. They're playing like they have Baron, even though they don't. Every lane is getting pressured. The supers are just causing too many problems, and at some point, something goes wrong. And FlyQuest break. I mean, even if this pattern holds, FlyQuest are probably losing more turrets, which they can't really afford to do right now.
And that's the big thing when you don't have lane assignments that can match up in a straight up 1v1. You have to send more members to one side, more members to the other side. Then the rest of the CLG squad can move in and look to create turret pressure.
Looks like 6A and Afro waiting for a little while longer. Darshan, I think pretty unkillable at this point with the Banshee's Veil now done. CLG rewarded for their patience to take down the mid-tier 2 turret, and the game is slipping rapidly away from FlyQuest.
And that's exactly what they have to do. As soon as multiple members move up to deal with Darshan, you move forward on the other side where it's now a lopsided numbers game.
Yeah, attempting to deal with 605 Mundo, 277 CS, almost highest in the game, just under high there. With his GA active, as you said, is not only is it hard to do in the first place, but even if you would be able to accomplish it, it would take you so long that the rest of your base would probably go down in that time.
I mean, FlyQuest, we'll see if they can find an opening here. They've still got the sort of team fight to break this game back open and keep themselves in the game. Moon, he already stole 1 Baron to make sure the game stayed afloat for FlyQuest, but CLG is not only the comps that they've picked, but the way they're approaching these games is just so difficult for FlyQuest to get anything done, and this giant fed Mundo is kind of the star of that problem.
It really is, and one of the untold stories here is that Smithy is getting to farm his own jungle, is getting to farm his opponent's jungle while his team is pushing in. You know, Moon is stuck in the base sharing CS.
Well, Darshan's ulti is going to be down for 40 seconds. Just pops it, runs away. Nothing FlyQuest can really do, and that ultimate's up on a pretty short cooldown at this stage. Darshan level 17 is chilling out in the top lane. Probably going to just smack the inhibitor when it comes back up in a few seconds. And again, with Baron up in a minute 35, CLG just have to be patient.
Yeah, I feel like that's the key word there. They're just being patient. The signal is that they have Smithy farming the jungle at their own side of the map, as you said, rather than having him up with the team looking for a dive of any sort. They just want to keep FlyQuest pinned inside their own base so all the wards expire, they aren't able to farm, and wait for the big Baron number 2 to come back up.
And the expiration of wards is a really good point, because you know that there's no way you miss sweeping out anything. There's no vision that has been established whatsoever from FlyQuest. So as CLG now moves over towards this Baron area 1 minute before spawn, they set up their ring and they know that it has not really been broken through yet.
Looks like extra shopping trips also done by CLG, so all that gold is spent. Perfect setup here for this next objective, and there's really just 1 blue trinket up right now for FlyQuest to get any work done. With CLG, though, doing their homework, making sure they clear the vision out, and something's going to break soon.
Lemon got through the line. He snuck a ward into Baron, though. So FlyQuest do have one in the back of the pit. And we will see if that one actually ends up paying off, or if CLG can actually have a control ward in the pit to clean it out.
Yeah.
Because, man, it's so scary to face check that as FlyQuest, but the options are so limited for them. They have to have this hero teamfight victory where they catch CLG inside the pit on the Baron and get some big AoE spells off.
And they should spot it out now. You got another control ward dropped in the pit, this one by Stixay. Afro still has his to place because that's actually the jungler and the AD carries around the pit. So they have really kind of done their due diligence. 3 pink wards around the pit, set up that ring of vision, look to clear that out, and then search for treasure.
Meanwhile, there's still an exposed inhibitor on this top side that CLG are poking around at.
Actually, Smithy that's collecting all the extra farm right now as we've got Huhi behind Darshan this time. We're going to try and get the split push done. Going to look to try and take this tower. Might even just dive in onto balls. Huhi though with the Lich Bane, able to take this turret down.
This is what we talk about when forcing 2 different points on the map. They trail on the split pusher for bottom while starting out the Baron, and that's where you make those decisions from the other team. FlyQuest are going for the Baron one to try and force.
It's a 4v3. FlyQuest aren't going to get many other shots, and Darshan and Huhi going to try and end the game.
Yeah, FlyQuest, speaking of shotgun, they need to make the right call right here because Balls is left defending by himself. The turrets are going down and the minions are crashing in.
Darshan is aggressively face tanking and not taking too much damage here. Looks like Smithy going to find a pick. Moon left stunned up there, but the arrow is the leap on its elimination. It's going to force out the ultimate from Zyra.
They're just trying to delay them. They're on the second Nexus turret already with this Lich Bane. It's going to go down fast.
I mean, Darshan also still has his ulti, so he can help heal back up right if he needs to. And look, just still continuing to do damage. High seal already, but Darshan pops the ulti and runs away.
And this is where they're able to turn around to the Baron because the bottom inhibitor now gone allows for the extra pressure. The 2 split pushers are staying there. CLG can just back off this Baron as soon as FlyQuest show up.
Exactly. They're not even intending to finish this. They're just drawing the pressure down, allowing this 2-man squad to do their work.
I mean, Moon was there, but he's going to have to move out of the way pretty quickly. Well, CLG just might take the base. Again, continuing to just keep the Baron interested. I mean, Moon, he's there. He wants to try for a steal, but he just can't stay around forever, and eventually he has to leave. CLG going to be very patient.
He doesn't have to. CLG actually don't have vision on him.
Oh, they're going for the finish.
Oh, looks like Baron goes down. Moon finally has to give it up. I think tied away for Afro just to keep him out of the pit because I don't think they could see him. Moon with a sweeper, very patiently waiting in that piece of brush, but inhibitor in the bottom side down, still one open there in the top, and mid is awfully exposed. CLG with Baron, gonna look to close the game here.
And CLG deserves so much credit for this setup. I think they played it exceptionally well from the vision game to the 2-man squad trailing, forcing FlyQuest in this tough decision between Baron and base defense.
That's exactly what I was talking about with the 2 different points on the map. And now they have Baron buff to finish out the game. Bottom inhibitor still down. They could easily push mid and top at the same time and force FlyQuest into, you know, you have 0 time, so the next team fight you see will probably be FlyQuest just rushing for something that doesn't look great just because they have to throw everything out there, or else this Baron plus Elder Dragon team will just steamroll through to your next.
And there's Elder Dragon for CLG, so FlyQuest going to have a mountain or 2 to climb if they're going to keep themselves in this game. An Omewrecker has been completed for Darshan. I'm not sure if that's a celebration or
which turret is he going to use it on? There's only 2 turrets left in the whole map for FlyQuest.
And one of the scariest parts about the Elder is actually how much true damage even on someone like a Mundo. It makes it incredibly hard to deal with him in the 1v1 as if it already wasn't really difficult, because now he has a respectable amount of damage and they're closing in on all sides. He will continue to shove in the waves, threaten the Nexus turrets, while the rest of the team looks to take down the mid and top.
I have to say, this has been a completely different CLG from the regular split. Smithy's going to go for the ult here. It looks like they are steps away.
Oh, goodbye Zyra. Darshan already got a kill. Moon actually under the turret. We're going to go down here as well. Darshan moves in. I think it's a big ultimate. He's still going to go down to Darshan, who just cannot be killed. Stixay grabs the double as Balls goes down. That's an X for CLG. And game 2 going to go over. CLG 2-0 up in the series as the Omewrecker celebrates on the last Nexus turret before the Nexus itself is spelled by Counter Logic Gaming.
CLG show off the Mundo and give you a masterclass on split pushing, spreading out your opponents, how to close a game here.
so much better than the regular split performances that we've seen from them. And a dominating victory in game number 2 as well as that game number 1. This is going to be rough for FlyQuest to really reset after this, because first time around, Aurelion Sol, and everyone's going to chalk it up to, oh yeah, he's still a monster on that. You have to always permaban that. But CLG have shown that they're so much more flexible than that.
Yep, and you know, last game we looked at Aurelion Sol looking good. Tashan this time around, highest damage in the game for Mundo, and just an incredible performance in top lane.
Yeah, I mean, he played exceptionally well. And a lot of this game for me, though, I have to look at the Kennen, at this different pick, because I feel like, as we said, you have to win lane, you have to be a split push threat. Is this the team and is this the composition to pick it into when it's Nami and Ashe? One of the strongest 2v2 lanes, I think, in the meta right now. You know, you're picking yourself into an almost losing situation immediately, and you're expecting to get ahead and then be a success in split push. It just feels like you're setting yourself up for failure.
I think that CLG had a lot of control in the picks and bans, and definitely deserve credit for that. And Zix has been pretty good at that all year long.
Yeah, preparation certainly paying off there for CLG, but now let's check in with Dash and the analysts for their thoughts on that CLG win.
Thank you very much, Pastry Time. 2-0 lead here for CLG up against FlyQuest. They'll be very happy sitting on that one, but I want to dive into Champion Select just as they were discussing there, because to me feels like the most relevant part of this game 2 here because of what happened in game 1, and we can kind of compare and contrast the adjustments made by both teams. So right on the outset, we had made the request that FlyQuest ban out Aurelion Sol. So here we go, ban phase 1, all looks good. The Aurelion Sol ban comes through. And so then if we go ahead and immediately fill in pick phase 1, the 2 big things I'm looking at here, Mark, the Nami pickup by CLG that Azael just talked about, as well as the Rumble run back here by FlyQuest.
Yeah, just touch on the Nami pick. We were talking about, oh my god, Aurelion Sol's crazy all last game, but one thing that was not talked about enough was how great Afromu's Nami was. The bubble accuracy was great. That's one of the big things between a decent Nami and an excellent Nami is how well you can land those bubbles. He was nailing a ton of them, and that is one of the things that lets Counter Logic Gaming's bot lane actually stand up to this aggressive Kennen Zyra bot lane as well. Anytime that there's action down there, you saw them trading pretty much evenly.
Yeah, and it's so strange too that they went with a Kennen here, because I don't feel like that really helps the composition too much, because there's still things on the table. Lucian, even Jhin, etc. Like, there's tons of things that you can pick. You can even pick like Zyra Caitlyn as a bottom lane. And so I really didn't like the Kennen pick. And it puts them in a spot where you really aren't doing a whole lot of physical damage in this composition. And the Mundo pick from Counter Logic Gaming, perfect.
That's the big thing. The Mundo pick is big, but it's the Rumble pick that kind of signals to CLG that we can employ the remainder of our strategy. The Rumble pick suggests that the double AP, or rather just the AP, is going to go top lane. So immediately we see the Talon Zed bans come in from CLG, leaving the only AD option in the mid lane, Jace, up once again, but we know that High is going to prioritize that Ori over it.
Right, we know Jace, you know, High can play Jace, that's great, but when you're looking at what FlyQuest kind of win conditions are and like who really carries the games, it's High and Moon, and Jace is an individually strong pick in lane who can take over games, but not the way High plays, where he wants to be roaming around the map and the big playmaker. And Orianna, a little bit better at that, still good laning phase, but can obviously hit a monster shockwave.
Yeah, and moving forward, I don't know so much about that Rumble pick. Sure, it's Ball's Rumble. He's historically very good on that champion. It was okay this game as well. But I feel like it's being exploited in Champion Select if you're picking in the first round.
And that's actually one of the points that I don't think we hit enough on in that was that fact that they're double banning Shen and Nautilus to take away the 2 best tanks in the meta away from Balls, who is a primary tank player. So then he's playing Rumble as you know, kind of a makeup for the fact he can't get his best tanks, and now they're exploiting all their strategies around this Rumble pick.
Right, so on the outset, we've got a Mundo pick into double AP, very confident being able to pick up the triple rejuve bead to start, but immediately curtail that into the Spirit Visage, makes him essentially unkillable. He was unkillable, didn't die in that game, as a matter of fact.
Most damage in the game, too.
Which is absolutely absurd
that
there.
Tank?
Yeah. On the Rumble, or on the Mundo, and I have to say that for a CLG team that in past seasons we have lauded them for the fact that they had great champion selects. This regular season, Zix seemed to have taken a step back in a coaching perspective in terms of the success of his drafts overall. Here, though, today seems to have turned it up a notch. And so then if we move ourselves into the game in particular, I want to look at the Ahri pick and how it played out, because Huhi on the, those kind of assassin 1-3-1 champions that we know he loves to play here gets to emulate this new LeBlanc build that we've been seeing with the Gunblade, but here on Ahri.
Yeah, and I like this Gunblade with Lichbane build on people who are mobile and also play in their auto attack range. So LeBlanc, somebody who can jump in, get the auto attack, and then reset. But Ahri, same thing here. There's so many things here. I could go on forever. People think about Gunblade as not really an AP item. It has 80 AP. It's a substantial AP item. The active is going to give you a whole bunch of bursts that it makes it so that you don't have to rely on landing your charm to get the kill, but it does give a 40% slow. That means your charm is even easier to land afterwards. The item is 121% gold efficient without the active itself. This item is absolutely ridiculous. And then you're threading in the AD, which people are like, oh, it's a waste. If you're buying Lich Bane, you're auto-attacking, it's not going to waste at all.
And the way it actually plays out in game 2 beyond the assassination potential, you see it shores up some weaknesses that some split-pushing assassins sometimes happen, where they can get chunked out and then their pressure drops really low. LeBlanc and Ahri get extra sustain. Now, Ahri already has a little bit, but it really helps her in that kind of split-push situation. And when you look at FlyQuest comp, it's like this weird no-tank, kite back, drop Ahri, Rumble, Orianna ults. And then in the meantime, CLG's just splitting you apart, so you never get the ideal team fight.
Yeah, and that was a problem I had in the first game as well, is Counterlogic Gaming had a composition that could group up, but it could also 1-3-1 you very heavily with an Aurelion Soul and a Fizz. They go with something that can also 1-3-1 you again, and both times FlyQuest, Rumble top, this is a team that wants to group. They're not going to split push. They're going to try to 5-man death ball you, and CLG are playing around that.
And that's the thing, while we see CLG spreading the map out, really, you know, kind of creating chaos and forcing FlyQuest into many micro decisions of who they're going to send where to answer to what, we get to that point where FlyQuest, and in a very high-like fashion, they just make a call for Baron. And this is the replay, the big replay we're going to show 20 minutes in. Baron call from FlyQuest gets turned by CLG.
It's barely spotted, too.
Yeah, this is a little unfortunate with the Zyra plants kind of giving this one away, but Smithy was in the area. He would have seen it as he was doing that Skull Crab. And this is one of the things about FlyQuest is now they're caught out of position. The game was like relatively even. We think they're going to get outscaled probably because their comp isn't great. And then you see Huhi able to go in there, pick up a ton of kills, and this ends up being a 4-for-2 in favor of CLG.
I just have to say real quick, we're welcoming in our viewers from NALCS2 who were listening to Jat along with Smoothie and Meteos talk about the shot calling. This is actually a replay directly related to the shot calling that High had, and a smart response here from CLG. But in general, Mark, I have to agree that like this is the kind of play that if it works, we call High and FlyQuest gods of, you know, split-second decision-making and, oh my goodness, look how decisive they are. But we see that when it fails, they lose that much quicker because it is really a stab back into the game.
Yeah, you see, you know, at that point, it was close to evenish gold at that 20-minute mark, and there you see it instantly jump back up to like a 3K advantage just off the back of that play. And it's one of those things where you say, is that really the play to go for? Could you not have tried to get your Kennen and like move around the map a little bit more? It feels like such an all-in attempt, and it's something that we often give FlyQuest a lot of credit for when it goes well, but I don't think we necessarily hold it against them enough when it goes horribly wrong. Like it has been doing a little bit more in the second half of this season.
All right, Zyrene, 2-0 for CLG right now, so we need the reverse sweep from FlyQuest if they plan to move on and face
I'm
TSM.
predicting CLG, so I don't know.
Well,
Your eyes go wide like, where's this going?
I know for prediction's sake, neither of you want it to happen, but I'm going to still ask you to tell me how it happens. How does FlyQuest come back? I think hint number one was the Rumble priority here.
Yeah.
Do they just abandon that entirely and look for completely different matchups in the top lane?
I think so. I think if you can get some form of tank, I think even putting him on Maokai is fine. Because he's going to be serviceable. You're going to be able to gank that lane more reliably. And we're seeing things like there's a Graves being played in the jungle right now for Moon.
You got plenty of damage.
And they have really no reliable CC in the lanes, nothing that's point and click that you can really just be like, okay, good for Moon to actually open up and get into these lanes, but
right,
so
we
Moon's
saw the
not
early
able,
gank to the top
Ball's
lane, but they couldn't even capitalize on it at level 2, you know, because Balls doesn't have quite the follow-up that you would need to secure that kill.
And this is what I was talking about in the pregame about the stylistic mismatch in the top laners. Like, sure, we're going to force now Balls to play a suboptimal tank in the meta, and what do you think Darshan's going to do? He's going to counterpick it and crush it. Like, that's what's going to happen. So that's the big concern for FlyQuest here is if they do go that Maokai, do you give up the Rumble? Is he going to play a Trundle into it? Like, what does Darshan have in his back pocket?
All right, we're putting a microscope on Champion Select for Game 3. We're going to step away for just a bit, but we'll see if FlyQuest can retaliate in Game 3 against Counterlogic Gaming. Don't touch that browser. I'll be right back. Touch if I want.
How's a FlyQuest jersey? What the? I doubt it. Where? No, really? See? Yes, FlyQuest.
Oh, yeah, that's my sister.
It's a guy.
Oh,
What?
is it my dad?
That's my brother.
Oh,
you're on Moon. He's no flash.
Too far forward. This could be first blood, but Moon, he's going to cut it out, dash it over the wall, but Smithy's going to chase him down. Could be a close up, but who he flashes?
He's waiting. Wait for Lemon specifically.
Oh, Lemon Nation, goodbye.
Come on. They had a back, right? Are you good? Are you good? I'm dead.
I'm snowboarding.
Yeah, we can go, guys. Go, I got Zara. I'm waving. Go up.
Or he's not here.
Going.
Go for a steal. Darshan's over the wall trying to stop that.
We're looking for it, but Darshan going to be disrupted. They take it. He's in the pit. He took down Baron. FlyQuest maybe saved the game. It's CLG collecting got a kill. Moon actually under the turret. We're going to go down here as well. Darshan moves in. I think it's a big ultimate. He's still going to go down to Darshan, who just cannot be killed. Stixay grabs the double as Balls goes down. That's an X for CLG. And game 2 going to go over. CLG 2-0 up in the series as the Ownwrecker celebrates on the last Nexus turret.